She didn't just wake up going to Stanford Saturday. We've been grooming her for Stanford for a year.
Amen. Amen.
I asked Sister LaShawn to pull together, ask Laneicea everything she has done in high school and since she's been at this church. And when we created her resume, it looked like somebody who had been working 15 years. When we sent her downtown to Judge Murphy, Mark from Stanford knows Judge Murphy. Only God can perfectly put it together. He said, I met with her. So I told Laneicea, now I have to go and let Judge Murphy know. And let me help you to understand. Whenever I say Laneicea is going to Stanford, people say, yeah, right, okay. Because they don't believe. Because Stanford, you all have to understand, go do the stats. They only accept 5% of every applicant. And in some cases, it gets down to 1%. He told her, well, you know, we're going to prepare you for the ACT test. This is something that was so amazing because I didn't know what to expect. I knew she was going to be interviewed by Stanford, but I haven't had that experience yet because this is something new that they had created. But it appears to me that they were just mobilizing the smartest and the brightest students in the urban areas. Because schools of that nature, those Ivy League schools, need diversity. But they are not willing to surrender their standard. So when Laneicea had the privilege of going there, it's so amazing. See, sometimes I wonder, I said, Lord, am I just too involved? But then when I get results like that, because Laneicea was so awesome, she said, I fasted Friday all day and said, God, just help me. Just give me what to do and what to say. And Laneicea texted me and said, Pastor, what do I wear? She said, kind of wear slacks. I said, no, wear a dress like you look so pretty going downtown with hosiery. And he said, you're the only person I've ever seen come to these in hosiery. And told her before, you all can fight me if you want to. You can cut them up and cut them down and look like the world if you want to. The first impression is what we see. Amen. Mark had already sized her up before he got, and then when he was given the resume, he said, you're the only person who have ever given me one of these. God has been preparing her for an entire year. When we sent her to learn to play golf, it was on purpose. So when she turned in her resume to Stanford, and then I said, honey, get on that team at Bloom. I paid for her to go and get on the Bloom team. And she was the only girl, and they treated her badly because she was the only girl on the team. I said, you will finish. Because this will go on your resume. She's not a quitter at all. She's obedient also. She finished the course, got awarded for it at the end too, but that also is on her resume. For those of you who don't volunteer, those of you who haven't served when we go out, you can't get into any good university without some community service. And I'm not talking about picking up paper outside. Amen. She was able to put on her resume that she participated in restorative justice. She was able to add to her resume that she had taken the fine dining etiquette program from GBM and learned how to be a lady. See, what you all don't know is this, and I don't think she'll mind. I have to go back and get the pictures and go back and get the video. Judge Hogan, when I told him that Laneicea was going to be an interview by Stanford, he said, I met with him Tuesday near my home. And he said, she was rough. She was. Laneicea, when she came into the etiquette class, she was a little instigator. She wasn't the one that was going to fight, but the kids listened to her. Whoever was fighting, she was in it. And she walked like they walked. Daring them to come up to, and all of this, all of that. She's such a lady now. And what was amazing that I spoke to Laneicea was this. When I asked her to speak, I tell you all never tell a story in front of a mic like you tell it in private. I said, Laneicea, what did your mother say? She said, Pastor, I remember you prayed last week that I would have authority in my home again. She said, as soon as Mark would say something, he said, well, what do you like to do? He said, you go to church, don't you? He didn't ask her, did she go to church? He could tell she went to church. And he says this, he said, what do you like to do? She said, I love praise dancing. Her mother spoke up and said she loves praise dancing and she loves to go to church on Wednesdays and Sundays. She became her spokesman for Jesus. And certainly, as her daddy says, well, it doesn't sound like David. It doesn't sound like, I got another son. I got another son. He said, but I got another daughter. Laneicea's name was waiting for her. And let me tell you how the enemy tries to interfere with your destiny as you go along, so you can understand that God is moving even in the silence when you don't see him.
Amen.
Mark told Laneicea, you got this invitation a long time ago. We sent it to Bloom. And they never told her. They finally found her because they decided, they said they got to the point where Bloom didn't even answer the phone. And he said, we decided to send it to your house.
Thank you.